Hello, it's Bob Molton here, and welcome back to Top Fuel Guitar Videos. Today we're going to be looking at how to block your tremolo unit. I've had a lot of questions about this, and we're going to go through the steps here. Okay, let's jump right in. The first thing you're going to want to do is just loosen your strings down to zero tension. Just means that everything is going to be very, very loose all the way back to the tremolo. And you'll notice that when you take the tension off, that tremolo is going to start sinking backwards, and it'll probably even fall into the body somewhat. And this is perfectly normal. So just continue to take the tension off the strings until they're just very, very, very loose. Okay, at that point you should be able to flip the guitar over and start removing the springs from the claw. And as you can see, you just basically unhook them. I've got the middle one still here. Go ahead and remove those from this back plate that you see right there, and then we'll flip the guitar over and we'll remove the tremolo unit itself. This is the main piece we're going to be working on here. Okay, now here's the big thing. A lot of times people will block the tremolos with wood, and that's okay to do. It will work, but I find that using metal works best, and the reason being is that you get much better sustain, and it actually lets the tonal quality of the wood come through the sound much better. It's because we're using this metal on the block of the tremolo that kind of makes the tremolo just one big unit then that's touching the wood, and that just makes a big difference rather than putting a piece of wood between two other units that are clamping together. I hope that makes sense to you, but trust me, you're going to notice a difference doing it this way. Okay, so what you can do is you can use these washers to either stack 2 or 3 together if you have to, or if you have a smaller area, you can actually cut a bigger one down if you need to. But what I find is if you use these little bitty tabs, you can get these at a hardware store, pretty much any hardware store. They're just little tabs, little metal inserts. You can get these little things, and they're already cut in a way that they'll fit in just about any tight little area, and you can stack them on top of each other and get the desired width that you might need. So that's what I use, but you can really use anything. I used to use these washers all the time, and I still do because they are just solid metal and it works really well. But I'll show you what this is going to look like. You're going to want to use epoxy for your bonding solution. You can pick this epoxy up at, again, any hardware store, Menards, any place like that. Go ahead and mix that 2-part epoxy glue together, and what you're going to do then is you're going to go ahead and use your metal shims. You want to pre-measure how many you're going to need to actually get the tremolo to be even, as well as touching the body and the back. So the shims, it may take 2, it may take 3. In this particular case, I believe it took 3. And as you'll notice, that's just right there on the middle of the base plate. You're going to use a clamp or vice grips, and just clamp that overnight. Give it a good chance to set up. And here's another shot of that where you can actually see that I've left enough room for the spring to go back down, because you'll notice that when the spring goes in that block area, it comes down about a 1/2 inch. So you want to make sure that your shim is down low enough that it doesn't touch the spring or interrupt it in any way. And actually, if you've tested this, your width and everything, you'll notice that where the actual base plate lines up and meets the wood, this is where the shim needs to be. If it's in the proper location, you won't have a problem with the springs anyhow. If one's done right, the other one will be done right. So there's really no issues as long as you just do a quick little test before you glue this. You'll know right where the area is that you need to be. Okay, so as we move on here, this is a Floyd Rose bass. And this is exactly how I do these Floyd Rose. I'll put a big washer right there and just epoxy that straight onto the base plate. And again, you might move that down just a hair bit, and again, give yourself enough room for the spring to set down in the middle there. But this works great. Makes a great contact, surface contact, and you just get all kinds of sustain from doing it this way. Okay, so what you're going to want to do then is go ahead and reattach these springs back to the claw from the base plate. Now you'll notice right here, this is the shim, and it is 3 of those right there in the middle, and you'll see the width right here. This was the width that we had to make up for with the metal shims, and as you can see right there in the middle, just perfectly lines up, hits right against the wood. The tremolo stopped in that position. This allows you to actually use the tremolo in a downward position but not an upward position, and that keeps constant pressure from the base plate to the wood, and that's where you get all the sustain back. This is very important that you remember that, because that's what this is all about. The other good thing that comes from this is that if you break a string while playing, let's say a live gig or something, the guitar will not go out of tune to the point that you can actually finish the song before you take the guitar off. So this is actually another added bonus that is pretty big, really, because if you're a three-piece band and you have a floating tremolo and a string breaks on stage, it'll go so far out of tune that you really do have to swap the guitar over pretty much right then and there. So this is actually a little added benefit that will happen by blocking this up. Okay, so you're going to want to go ahead and tune the guitar back up to pitch, and now you can adjust the claw in the back to the desired tension that you want for the bar to go downward. I like to keep a pretty good amount of force on the base plate touching the body so that you have that good connection, but at the same time be able to use the bar downward enough that you can actually push it down without being too hard. You know, you'll find that comfortable spot for you. And the only other thing that you may notice after you do this is that you may need to do a little adjustment on the tremolo height and possibly a little adjustment on the truss rod, and that's only because everything now is in a new location. It's set up a little bit different than it was, so these are just little things that are going to be normal adjustments that you would have to make. So just go ahead and count on that probably having to happen. If you're not comfortable with that, you can have a friend that knows how to do that, do it for you, or just run it down to your local music store, because it's a very easy little adjustment that they can make for you. So I suggest that you would go to some of these other guitar sites that I have to look at the guitar instructional products that I have available. One right here is greatguitartone.com. I have some great information that will help you get the best out of your guitar rig. It'll help you actually to get from point A to point B without spending all the years of trial and error finding out what does and what doesn't work. This is some great information, and it's helped a lot of people to improve their tone, 100% in a very short time. So I highly recommend going to greatguitartone.com and checking out the information I have there. Also, if you're interested in learning how to improve your speed picking or just picking overall, you need this DVD at speedpicking.rockguitarlicks.com. Go there. I've got a great DVD that will explain all kinds of tips and tricks to help you improve your speed, and also just overall picking in general will greatly improve your skills in that area. So again, that's speedpicking.rockguitarlicks.com. Go there, pick up your DVD. This is one that is definitely a must. And just go to Top Fuel Guitar when you have a chance, topfuelguitar.com. I've got all kinds of other instructional products there that you can just go through. A lot of free information and a lot of information that will help people, and whether you're a beginner or an advanced player. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will see you in the next video. And until then, everybody keep rocking, and we'll see you next time. Hey, it's Bob Molton. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.